Welcome back to the Turf and Touchdowns podcast, focusing on the horse racing front this week. And for the first time in quite a long time, we're not going to be looking at the Kentucky Derby because all the points races are done. The Kentucky Derby comes up in a few weeks' time. We will be looking towards our early shots for the Derby in the near future as well. But that's all in the future. Today we're looking at Oaklawn Park for the Oaklawn Handicap. Luke Elder, as always, alongside Tom Collins, where we're bouncing back this week, Tom. We're bouncing back.
We are. To be fair, we've had a phenomenal 2025 in terms of winners to race ratio, whether it be you finding the winner, me finding the winner, or both of us in the same race. Last week was a bit of a blip, albeit I think I gave an okay mention to the eventual winner, Tuisha. The result, by the way, I feel like that should have been amended. What about you? I feel like Excellent Truth definitely should have been given it. It looked like Louis Sires hung across the track on the eventual winner, and that was enough interference for me to reverse the first two placings.
Yeah, it's something, honestly, I didn't notice when I first watched it. I think I was too busy watching Frankie Dettori try and go around the outside rail for whatever reason. But you watch it back, and Excellent Truth is inconvenienced massively late on. By far the best horse in the race. It's not even close on that front. Well done to the Christopher team. I don't mean to demean from their achievement in picking the race out for Choisia and making her a Grade 1 winner. But at the same time, if they raced off the same weights in a month's time, Tom, I would have absolutely no problem in picking Excellent Truth.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. And again, I also want to reiterate the fact I'm not taking anything away from the success of the winner. But from a visual perspective, as we're analysts, I feel like we have to point out the fact that the runner-up was probably the best horse in the race. And as you say, if they all faced off again, maybe at Saratoga or metaphorically or hypothetically they faced off in a week's time, I'd be playing the Chad Brown horse for sure.
Yeah, I think the Chad Brown horse will probably be quite hot favourite as well, even off the back of defeat on that. Few bits of housekeeping. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed down below. One thing I will say, Tom, is that we have got plenty of listeners that are below the age of 69.
I did see that.
Or 65, 65.
Oh, why are you saying 69?
I don't, move on. 65. That is the target window. But thank you for everyone for clearing that up. But one thing I did notice, Tom, is that last week, 79% of the people that watched this video weren't subscribed.
Absolutely shocking.
What are you doing? If you're one of the 79%, sort it out. If you're one of the 21%, you're good. You're all fine. We like you. You're cool. But if you are subscribed, make sure you subscribe to this podcast because we've got a big thing coming out this week. We've got the NFL draft episode coming out as well. That is up this weekend. We'll be giving you our best tips, best bets, and best choices for the NFL draft, and hopefully find a few winners through doing that. And there will be a listener league position given away in that podcast. So go over, check that out right now as we move on to the Oaklawn Handicap, where it's not a bad race. I'm going to describe this race, Tom, as a very good Grade 2, not quite Grade 1. It is a Grade 2 officially, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. These are generally horses just below the top level. There are a couple in here that can probably fight at Grade 1 level, but that's yet to be seen. But it's a competitive race, and hopefully we can find the winner. There are a couple of lovable veterans in here.
Yeah, the pace aspect to this is quite interesting because we might well have a kind of a repeat of what we saw a few weeks ago with Banishing taking on one or two of these. Skippylongstocking has gone forward in the past. Not necessarily in the more recent past, but I mean, if Banishing's in a race, Banishing's probably going to be in front.
Yeah, there are 3 front runners and 2 prominent races in the field, so they're definitely going to be moving along swiftly early. Banishing, as you've already talked about, will be on the lead. Alexander Helios will be up there as well, much like we saw in the Razorback. And I think Tarantino is almost certain to be pressing the pace, if not actually on the pace. He could be the quickest of them all. So, yeah, I do think they'll go quite fairly up top, and that should set it up for the stalkers and the closers, namely Skippylongstocking, if they adopt stalking tactics this time, and also First Mission.
Mm-hmm. Well, with this race, we've got the Oaklawn regulars taking on the horses who are shipping in to Oaklawn, and I include First Mission in that. I know First Mission has ran here at Oaklawn in the past, but he goes here, there, and everywhere. Skippylongstocking is also another. So we'll start with Skippy because Skippy is a podcast favourite and a Luke Elder favourite. Look, last time around, honestly, didn't think he was that impressive over at Tampa, but he never really is that impressive at Tampa. He's won the last 3 renewals of the Grade 3 Challenger. He came into that race off the back of a really good third in the Pegasus World Cup. And you're kind of thinking, well, is he going to take that form over to Oaklawn? Is he going to improve on that? He's managed to win the Oaklawn Handicap once in his one start in this race. He posted a career best Bayer speed figure of 107 in that. So there shouldn't really be any concern at all.
Yeah, that came 12 months ago and he did it really well. So on that basis, you'd suggest this is a really good target, especially considering he's had a very similar prep. He's won 10 races in his career. As you say, he's a friend of the podcast, especially of yourself. And this horse is a great story as well. He cost just $37,000 and he's amassed 3.43 million. He has been a fantastic stalwart for Connections. Is he at his best? I don't know. Over at Tampere, he had an excuse for losing that race. He hopped at the start, completely kind of missed it, put him in a poor spot, yet he still won. He wasn't overly impressive in doing so, as you've rightly said, but he still managed to get the job done. Um, the jockey booking here is the fascinating thing for me. Jose Ortiz usually rides. Maybe Tyler Gaffalione could get on once in a blue moon. But Irad Ortiz, I mean, he's ridden him to success before, but he's not a typical Irad horse for me. Irad's better on these like types that have this really high cruising speed just in behind the pace, a genuine horse that then finds for pressure when he just nudges away. Skippy's not exactly that type. So the jockey booking is interesting. I'll be fascinated to see how they get on. I think Skippy's going to sit maybe fourth or fifth early, maybe a bit further behind than usual because of the jockey. And from there, I suppose he's got a good chance.
I kind of think Skippylongstocking is that horse, honestly.
You do?
Um, was it Churchill last year? It was Stephen Foster, wasn't it? When
Yeah.
he got the terrible ride from Jose Ortiz. He travelled as well throughout races as anyone else. I know they didn't go too hard on the front end, but it was a Jose Ortiz terrible ride that made him look a little bit more one pace. But I don't know, I'm more open to that, especially if they go a good clip. I agree with you, though, with Skippylongstocking should be sat sort of fourth or so, tracking through the pace, probably in the same kind of wave as First Mission. Now, First Mission also ran in this Stephen Foster. He's proven himself on a few occasions. He's not the grade one horse that we were all hoping that he might well be at one point in his career. But he had a bit of a break. He came back in February, ran in the Razorback. I thought he shaped really well behind Alexander Helios and Banishing. You would like to think he's a little better than that as well. I think he should take a step forward. But again, he's always just the horse that, for me, he's just that little bit limited.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with that, but also I do think there's still open. He's open for improvement. He's only had the 11 starts. Remember, what is he, a 5-year-old now? So he's been quite lightly raced throughout his career. 5 wins from 11 starts. He has been disappointing on a number of occasions, as you say, and most of those runs have been when he's gone up in grade. And Brad Cox and Godolphin are trying to test him. He hasn't come through with flying colours, which has been disappointing. But if you go back to last year, he won the Essex Hand at this track and did so very impressively. Then he won the Ali Sheba at Churchill. And it did look like he was kind of getting there towards that grade one level. Yeah, he was very bad in the Whitney. That was at the back end of last season. But as you say, I thought in the Razorback on his comeback, that was a pretty good run in third.
Mm-hmm.
He had no excuses, and he was right there at as they were turning in to try and take the race, and he didn't go on by. But that was his first run off the layoff. I think he's going to strip a lot fitter. Did a lovely work on Sunday that I managed to watch on xbtv.com. And also, Flavian Pratt takes the ride instead of Florence Giroux, which I think is a big positive.
Yeah, that is a big positive. Flavion Pratt, he's riding as well as he ever has. The last 2 years have been very good for Flavion Pratt. We then get to the home team, who we've kind of mentioned in passing, but we'll do it. We'll do them together as one. Banishing and Alexander Helios. They were obviously 1-2 in reverse order from the way I've mentioned them there. When they were ahead of First Mission in the Razorback. Now, Banishing's come out and has managed to win the Oaklawn Mile, beating Saudi Crown. It was a good effort. Obviously, you've made the point plenty of times that when not on LASIK, Saudi Crown's record isn't quite as good. And I apologise right there for stealing what you were going to say.
You did, yes.
I did. I gave you credit for it, though. I said it was a Tom Collins point, so there you go.
Yeah, I'll let you off. Yes, these two horses are quite closely matched on what we saw in the Razorback. Alexander Helios is a different type to Banishing. He was an allowance horse, basically, that was trying to win allowance races and just finishing second constantly. And then suddenly he broke through, and then he went up to graded stakes in the Razorback and won at the first time of asking in a graded stake. So he's a potential improver. I like him, but I don't love him, and I'm happy to oppose him against better horses here. Banishing has been super consistent. It's had the winter from heaven. It's been an amazing winter, 4 out of 6 in a couple of places. This horse is very strong, and he'll be on the front end. He's very gutsy, doesn't want to lose in a duel, as we saw in that battle with Saudi Crown. He's going to get pressured up top. I think Skippylongstocking and First Mission are the two of the better horses that he's ever faced, better than Saudi Crown when Saudi Crown's not got LASIKs. Therefore, I can't have him on top, but he is a reliable sort, and I really do respect him.
I kind of feel like both of them, and this might be harsh to say, I feel like both of them are the two horses I'm just waiting for something to come along that's better than them and then go, well,
Yeah.
you're going to beat them. I think in here you've kind of got those two with First Mission and Skippylongstocking. For all that I kind of want one of the two of them to win, because it's the underdog story effectively, and it's the two horses from the home track, I'm not sure they're going to be able to. We've also got Red Route 1 and Disarm in here. Steve Asmussen, do we describe him as a home trainer? He has tons of runners here at Oaklawn.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I suppose Texas is his home, but it's not too far away. Yeah, the reason I put these in the running order, they're big prices on the morning line. I think they're like 10 to 1 and 15 to 1 on the morning line. The reason they were horses I wanted to focus in on is because we're talking about this strong pace up top with Banishing, Tarantino, Alexander Helios, maybe Skippylongstocking. We've talked about one or two that could come from behind, First Mission being the main one, but these are two deep closers. If this turns into a huge burn up on the front end, one of these two horses is going to feature. Whether they'll win, whether they'll finish in the places, it will be one of those things. And I don't know which horse it will be because it's really hard to split them on form, and also jockey bookings, trainers exactly the same. I suppose Disarm draws a little bit better than Red Route 1. But both of these horses come into the race on the back of a victory. I've long been a believer of Disarm. I've been proven wrong many times about him, but who knows? He could finally fulfill his potential this year. And Red Route 1 last time probably produced a career best. So I wouldn't discount either of these. I'm not tipping either. They're not going to be my main pick on top. But if you're playing exactas, if you're playing trifectas, forecast, tricast if you're in the UK, or if you just want an each way selection at a double figure price, I think one of these two horses will finish in the three.
I think Disarm would be the one I'd pluck for of the two. He was always a horse that we kind of thought quite a bit of. Managed to finish second in the Travers behind Arcangelo, who obviously was a very, very good 3-year-old of that year. I don't know, he didn't really take the next step. He had an injury or two, and things didn't go right for him. But he looks to be getting back to his old self just a touch. So Disarm potentially as an each way play. We'll get into selections in just a moment, but that's a lovely, lovely shirt you've got on there, Tom.
Do you know why I've got this on?
No.
You didn't know whether to say anything then or not. The people don't know, but it's the duel on the Downs today. Tom Collins versus Luke Elder in the Golf Classic, the inaugural Golf Classic. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, duel on the Downs would imply that we're playing on the South Downs.
Well, to be fair, it might be quite Downsy, if that makes sense. It does look a little bit up and down.
Yeah, we're playing at Reigate. So, I mean, don't go there when you're watching this because we'll be done by then. But I want everyone, leave a comment down below. Who wins in a golf match between me and Tom? Just go on looks alone. Who wins in a golf match out of me and Tom? Out of us two, if you're just looking at us, who would you say is more of a golfer?
I'm going to be so insulted if it's you, by the way.
I mean, you're already 1-0 because Peter Fornatal has said that you'll win. But he was just trying to be rude to me, and he succeeded.
He did succeed. That was a good comment from PTF, by the way. But also, I've got the attire on. I'm like playing mind games early doors. I'm getting into your head.
I'm going to wash before I go. I'm not smelly.
I've already washed.
So I think you look like more of a golfer. You've got like the golfer's neck.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, long, slender neck, like a swan. Let's do our selections. I'll let you go first in this spot because we are differing this week.
Yeah, we are. I found this a difficult race to really assess, to be honest with you. If you couldn't gather from the analysis and the individual horses that we've talked about, I was close to putting up Disarm or Red Route 1 each way, but I'm going to opt for the obvious play here. The default selection, some may say, in First Mission for Brad Cox. I just think he's got enough upside to take this if he steps forward from his reappearance in the Razorback. That day he proved he doesn't have much to find with Alexander Helios and Banishing. They're not probably going to be good enough, but they're going to be there or thereabouts. He has tactical speed to sit just in behind the pace, which I think might be the way forward here in 4th or 5th. And hopefully, with Flavien Prat on, he can get the job done.
Yeah, I get it. I think First Mission is the danger to my horse, but I'm back on the Skippy train. I think in this sort of contest that he is well at home, which is kind of a bad way of putting it. But I think at Oaklawn, he's absolutely fine. Like I say, he put his best bare speed figure in his entire career in this race 12 months ago. Irad's taken the ride. I don't mind that whatsoever. Jose Ortiz would be fine. Honestly, I'm not going to complain regards to whichever way they go. But he looked laboured last time around, still putting a big figure over at Tampa. He normally improves from that race as well. He ran a really good race in the Pegasus World Cup against two horses who quite simply are better than him. Skippylongstocking is the archetypal. I'm a very good grade 2 horse, but I'm going to struggle when I get to a grade 1, much like First Mission, but we just know more about Skippylongstocking. So I'll take Skippylongstocking. Tom is with First Mission. And now that this video is done, Tom, what should everyone at home do right now?
Well, firstly, subscribe, because the big red button's just there. Like it as well if you did enjoy it. Don't like it if you didn't. And also whack a comment in, whether it be your selection or whether it's you telling us who's going to win the golf tournament that's probably already happened, or actually definitely already happened by the time you're watching. But then you've got to go over to either the Turf and Touchdowns page, click the link right down below, or you'll get a pop-up in a second, probably about here or here, don't know which side, of the NFL video. You've got to click on that and watch it.
I'm going to add that to the parts of the video where Tom goes here or here and nothing happens. Literally nothing will happen. It will just be Tom going, point, looks good, don't know. Go check out our NFL draft video. That will be up right now. And as I say, we are giving away a listener league position in that video. So I'll let you go do that. Thank you for watching the Turf and Touchdowns horse racing video once again. Hopefully a winner, hopefully a forecast from us to once again for the Oaklawn Handicap. But we're off to record our NFL draft video. And hopefully right now you're off to watch it. Until we next speak to you, stay safe. Look after one another.